Just having a look at the lemon tree that was struggling during winter. It's dropped most of those leaves that were old and spent, and it's now putting on a lot of new growth and a lot of vigour. Flowers are appearing as well, and I think it will have a bumper year, and I think also the fertiliser and the extra minerals I put in has really helped in shaping this tree to what it is today. The second lemon tree that's in the pot, this one I'm not too sure, I think it's a Lisbon, but it could be a Eureka, has also put on a lot of new growth. The old leaves were quite vibrant compared to the other lemon trees in the pots, but it's probably about a foot of new growth in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Over here is the navel orange. It's an early variety, I think. I got that maybe a year or so ago from a gardener that said it was dying, and brought it back to life, and in its second year now has put on vigour and quite a lot of flowers, as you can see. It gets most of the morning sun, but not too much of the afternoon, but it seems to get a lot of heat off the brickwork and seems to like its position. Moving on to this Eureka lemon. This did struggle last year. It had an abundance of crop. We used a lot of lemons off this one, and I thought, oh no, maybe I let it fruit too early, and the tree itself was struggling. But again, this year it's come back with a lot of nutrients that I've put into the pot. So new growth, a lot of flowers, and looking healthy once again. The Emperor Mandarin gave a lot of fruit this year, and I thought, oh no, again, maybe I should have allowed it to settle in and grow as a tree rather than fruit. But again, you can see quite a number of vigorous growth occurring, and flowers are starting to appear again. Likewise on this one, who is the sister to that one there. Yeah, it's been a few little insect problems on this one, but overall it's also doing really well. As always, the kumquat didn't mind its it being relocated to this position, and it's looking healthy once again, and a lot of flowers are starting to appear and a lot of new growth. I think this tree will grow quite a lot this year and fill in this space really nicely. This is one of the many apple trees that I planted, replanted this winter, and this one I thought probably wouldn't do too well, but again, this is a grafted variety, and it's got fruit on the graft itself and on the mother plant, and it seems to like its position. There's a number of fruits here. I have thinned it out a little bit. I think I need to thin it out a bit more, and also maybe spray for codling moth at this stage, because they are the size of a large marble, which is usually, now that the temperatures are rising, a great time for codling moth to inject their eggs, I guess, into the fruit. This is the other apple tree. This has got a two-way graft, and the original the original mother plant, and once again a lot of fruit. The only one that hasn't got fruit is this branch just here, and that one is a snow apple. So for whatever reason, the snow apple graft, oh no, there's a couple here, there's one or two just there, so we might get to taste or have a look at what it is, the fruit's like. But all these ones here, this branch, although I did graft another one here, and that is a Gala or a Crispy Crunch, I'm not too sure. I didn't name it. But this is Granny Smith, and this is a cane apple. So again, once again, before I lose it to codling moth, I need to spray it. Look, I did see a little dot right there. I don't know if you can see it. They're starting to appear, so I've got to be vigilant, I guess. This is another spare apple tree I had that I put in this position, probably temporarily, but because I grafted onto it. I can't remember what the graft was again. I'll get to see the apple this year and make a judgment on what type of apple tree this is. The mother plant is a Granny Smith, so I do like Granny Smith for the mother plant. The grafts take really well to the Pink Lady and the Granny Smith. Over here with the spreaders, this has got a three-way graft of old world apple trees. Again, I can't remember what they were, but lots and lots and lots of apples on every branch. And you can see here, I think this colouring is part and parcel of the variety of that particular cutting I put on. Over here to the Golden Delicious and Crispy Crunch. Lots and lots of apples on this one too. I don't see many of those little dots from the codling moth, so I think I might have caught it just in time. As we move on to this one, this is a Pink Lady with a couple of different grafts on it. These apples look a little bit different to the other ones, so I'm not too sure what variety that. Oh, well, there's no graft on that, so that could be this is definitely a Pink Lady on this one, but this has got a graft with a couple of apples here. Oh, hold on, what is it? No, I can't see. And no apples on this one, so I'm just trying to shape this tree into a wine glass, open centered, and if I can get the tree shape right, the apples will come in future years. I'm heading down to the espaliated apple trees. I have thinned these out a little bit, and on these ones I haven't noticed too many of those spots, but on the ones down here I think I did. Here you go, this is what I'm talking about. Those sort of little indentations, I'm not too sure if that's the codling moth or just an indentation, but you can sort of see another one right there. That's one. If anyone can tell me if that's what a codling moth will look like in terms of the eggs that are laid by the butterfly or the moth, that'd be lovely. But there's not a lot. I think I might have caught it just in time, but even on these little small ones, which I think that they couldn't really pregnate, it could be something else. But there's another one right there too. But then you've got these ones with that are looking clean. What's this one like? Yeah, that one. So I'm not too sure. I'll keep going to the next one, so you can sort of see lots and lots of apples. I am trying to thin them out. Like this one's a bit deformed, so I'll get rid of that. And that one. And this one's got, I don't know what that is. I really don't. But yeah. So we'll see how they pan out. I'll keep going to this one. This is a Granny Smith. Lots and lots of apples on this one. Definitely needs to be thinned out to 3 or 4 in each bunch or cluster. And this last one over here is a Pink Lady. Once again, lots and lots of apples. Staying on the apple trees, this one over here is a Peasgood apple and a Pink Lady and a I'm not too sure the third one, but you can see that some early varieties here, some later ones there, and quite a number of apples on this one too. The tree shape is starting to take, all the inward growth has been removed, and it is putting on some vigor. Again, I don't need this many apples and this many fruit. I could remove all of them, but look, I'm not in a hurry for the tree to be fully grown, so I'll leave it as it is. On this side over here, the pear tree, no fruit this year, but the tree is really taking shape, and I might have to tip prune it to encourage a little bit of splaying in the branches. At the moment they're just growing tall and lanky, which is fine, but I do like some lateral growth from each of those branches to take place, and it's sort of not doing that at this stage, so tip pruning might be the way to go. The Japanese pear doing its thing, haven't really touched that one too much. This pear tree is also growing well. It's a bit behind the first one. You can see it's quite short, but it's putting on some good growth now, and the shape is starting to take place. This branch here I might have to tie over here to put it in place. I'm over here at the Fuyu persimmon. I did prune it quite a bit during winter, thinking that it was going to struggle being a newly planted tree, but there's been quite a bit of growth in the first part of spring, and I don't see any flowers or fruit formation on this one, which I'm not too fussed about, but it's starting to form really nicely, and quite happy with the result on this one. Apricots, a couple of fruit have survived and are growing on these newly planted trees. As you can see, this one just down in there. I think there's one or two others. What type is this one? Let me look. It's a hunter. So the hunter, for some reason, doesn't spread out as much as, say, the Divinity. I think this one is. That's spreading out quite nicely and growing well. I've already pruned it a week ago because it was getting quite tall, but I don't know if there's any fruit on this one next year. Figs starting to take shape. That one there is struggling because it gets a lot of water. This one's got a little bit of rust. I'm not too sure if it's rust, but it's got a little bit of what looks like rust to me. So again, maybe because of how damp it is this spring. They're old growth, so they're older ones than these new ones, but we'll see what happens as the weather warms up. Okay, I'm going to have a bit of a walk around and keep the video quite short. Just see how things are looking with a little bit of a walk. Everything looking nice and tidy. All the irrigation systems in. They're all working nicely. The hot weather hasn't started yet, so I have the irrigation on some days, and some days I turn it off because it gets a little bit too wet. But oh yeah, going on to this locust tree over here, I don't think my grafts have taken. So if you have a look at this one here, it looks pretty dry. Oh no, it's still green, or greenish, but nothing's really happening. This one looks pretty dead, that one, and that one over there, there's all this new growth just there. So I'm thinking of maybe just cutting out those grafts that I put on and allowing it to branch out from the lower ends. It's only a seedling. I'm sort of tossing up whether to take it out and put something else in its position. I've got a lot of grafted locusts anyway, probably about 6 to 8 of them in the garden, so I don't need a seedling. I'll keep walking the citrus area, as we just mentioned before. Another apple tree. As I said, I'll go into the fruity fortress. Oh, this one here, this didn't have irrigation until the other day. This is a Ruby Sensation Peach, and I love the colour of the leaves on this one. So now that it's got its irrigation, I'm hoping that it will survive the summer. Let's go into the fruity fortress. I'll start in the corner here. This is a cotton candy apricot plum, and this is one that last year I had to prune right back down to the bottom where the graft was, and in the 12 months it has caught up to all the other ones that weren't pruned as harshly as this one. And although no fruit has formed as far as I can see, the tree itself is looking really nice and healthy. Oh no, we have a fruit. Here we go. I didn't see it, but here it is here. Just there. I think there might be 1 or 2 others that I can't see, but yeah, look, I'm looking at the shape, and it's working out quite nicely. Over here to the white Adriatic fig. I thought I'd put a small fig into a pot and see how it goes, although I know figs need a lot of sun and heat. It might struggle. Over to the quince. I saw another blog on YouTube where the fella on that was saying that quinces don't really get attacked by the birds and the parrots, and they would do well outside, but I think I will hedge my bets and keep one inside like this one. But this one here I did graft onto. Is a Smyrna and a champion quince. This is the champion, and that's the champion over there, graft, and the rest is a Smyrna. And there are a few flowers that I think have formed into fruit. Let's see how they go. Moving on to this plum apricot. Again, most of the trees you see in here, there are similar ones or the same ones outside in the garden. These are just ones that I wanted to experiment in with, growing internally here, away from the parrots who would devastate them out there if I don't net them. So it's growing really well. There's a lot of vigor. Again, probably too much vigor. So I'm constantly shaping the tree, pruning it down to outward branches. Even these ones here, they're all grafted apples. You can sort of see where the graft is. Yeah, there it is there. There's a graft there. Graft there. So this has got a four-way graft, and every graft has taken. I tip pruned them the other day, as you can see, just to encourage the branches to splay a little bit rather than just growing upright. Over here's the full yew persimmon as well. This is similar to the one that's outside. I have pruned it as best I can to grow outwards. Looks pretty happy. No fruit, of course, but looking pretty happy. Looked at that one. The cherry tree that I planted here this is a late grower. This is a sunburst cherry. It provided flowers and one cherry, one cherry this year. But again, I'm hoping for some additional branching from this one. One of many nectarines. It's an Arctic one. I quite like the white nectarines compared to the yellow fleshed ones. Something that I grew up with as a young boy, sitting with my brother on a shed eating white nectarines. Maybe that's what the memory is all about. I'm not too sure. This one is an apricot tree that I moved from outside to inside and then grafted. Well, I did graft 3 and 1 is taken. So now it's a two-way apricot. It seems to have been a success, and now again I tip prune this one as well, just to encourage a little bit more splaying, and hopefully in a few weeks' time it would start to look like the ones over there. It has put on a lot of growth though, even though it looks quite small compared to others. Another nectarine tree. This one is a yellow flesh one. Again, as a May Grand, you've got to have a couple of different varieties, whether you like yellow or white flesh. I thought that would be important. This one here is another gold mine white flesh nectarine, and again over here a Flavour Supreme plum apricot. As I said with the locusts, like everything else, the birds love the locusts, so I thought having 2 in the Fruity Fortress would give us some guarantee to be able to eat these fruits without having to net the tree itself. And I don't like nets. I just think it looks ugly, and the garden's spoilt by putting nets around trees. So having this, I can allow the trees to be free, grow to 3 metres, nearly 4 metres high on this side and 3 metres on that side, and just allow them to grow free and walk underneath, eat the fruit without any worries of birds or even rats. The rats can't climb this fiberglass pot. It's a little bit hard to grab onto for the rats and the mice. So it does two jobs. One, being in here for the birds, and 2, also if there are mice or rodents or rats or anything like that, they find it hard to attack the fruit as well. Over here in the front I have replanted from the back 8 I think they're called Azerbaijani pomegranates, and they're starting to leaf up and making a little bit of a difference here as a pomegranate hedge. This is a very sunny spot, very hot in the summer, probably about 12 hours of sunshine, maybe more during summer. So I think the pomegranates will love the heat, the sun, and do really well here. Yep, the date palms, I thought I'd throw these into the video as well. Are doing really well. I did give them a dose of Dynamic Lifter, and it's been raining, so with the rain and the fertiliser, I think this year there'll be quite a substantial amount of growth. They're almost touching. I don't think they'll actually touch, but enough to walk through each one of those and block off a little bit of the traffic from the road at front. Yeah, more olive trees here starting to take shape. And this one, as I said, I think it's a Kalamata. Didn't give any really, apart from 1 or 2 olives last year. This year it's got a lot of flowers, and I'm hoping I'll get to see what variety it actually is and if it's worth keeping. There's nothing worse than having a small olive oil type olive. I don't press oil. I like table olives. So yeah, so the Feijoas or the Fahawas in their third year. Last year we had a bumper crop. This year we'll see how we go. I know they want a little bit of water, but with the rain, I think they're getting enough water to form the flower set that they're starting to produce at the moment. We have a wind tunnel from the neighbour's place that comes through in the same location every year, and it seems to rip apart these 2 particular Feijoas, and that's why these 2 here are a little bit smaller in size, because with the whirlwind that comes through that gully there, or that location there, just rips them apart. And then we continue on to the big ones again. So it's quite strange really with the way the wind works. I put a couple of spare apples that I had into a in a spaliated format. What's that? Ooh, it's okay. And it seems to be doing well. I'm just going to let it go this year and then see what I need to do in terms of pruning. It looks like the sheep may have found this branch, but the rest seems to be okay at this stage. So even if the branches go into next door and the sheep munch into them, I'm not too fussed. It just means that the tree will form a lot more on this side than that side. This olive tree, again, I'm not too sure what variety it is, but unlike all the others I've got, this one has got a very grey, or light green to grey toned leaf. I know it was grafted. It was grafted by some Italian bloke I got it off. So I'm guessing that it's a good variety, but I'm not too sure what. But it's definitely not like the ones I've got elsewhere. It's very different. It's just silvery grey in colour, grey green compared to the sort of the dark green ones over there and at the front. So there's a few flowers on this year. Not a lot, but a few. Oh, here we go. Got a fair bit on this one. So if we can get a few olives to grow to maturity, I might get to find out what type of olive tree this is. My little nursery here is the remainder of my fruit trees in pots. I've got another nectarine, pomegranate, and a couple of avocados. The Jala avocados. This one's a seedling, but these 2 are grafted. But you can again see the old leaves are, I don't know, rust or something. But this one is starting to bring out some new growth, which I'm really happy about. It survived the winter. One of them didn't. This one survived the winter, but the 2 that were looking like this one, only one survived. Pomegranate, another lemon tree. This is an apple that I grafted onto a wild stock, and it seems to be growing nicely. This is a seedling peach, and a couple of bay laurels, that's what they're called. I really need to get them into the ground, but at this stage they're sort of parked underneath this shed, and any rain or runoff seems to water them nicely while they're sitting here. I have a lot of new grafts that I put on these apple trees, and as you can see, they're taking really well. And I'm thinking, unlike last year where I allowed it to grow and then the wind came along and being top heavy, it snapped from the graft itself. I'm thinking of maybe tip pruning these so they can sort of thicken up down below and sort of I suppose sacrifice the length for the girth and the graft itself. So probably tomorrow I'll go around and look at every graft that has taken and tip prune to allow the girth and the graft to really take hold, and if we have any windy days during the end of spring and into summer, that I don't lose the graft like I did on a couple of occasions last year. It was very, very sad to see a graft break just because I wanted to see how long the branch was going to get, not knowing that the graft itself wasn't really fully bonded. So that's another job before the weekend. Okay, so I think I've covered most things. This might be the last video for a while. I'm going to have a bit of a break, and if you like my videos, if you like my garden, I would really love for you to not only press like but to subscribe. It just gives me encouragement to continue with spending the time taping and sharing my garden. Thank you. Recently I took down the corrugated iron that was covering this area here as the dog pen, and I've planted now some cuttings that I got from the Ballarat community garden of some nice cool climate table olives, table grapes, and I'm hoping that once they take that they will find their new home along this this fence line here. Well, to the dog pen anyway. Cool. I know it's not the best position for a quince, because I've ran out of positions in the garden. I've decided to put this quince that I got on sale, which is a champion, I think it's called, between the two bamboos alongside the back of the bridge. And I think if I keep the bamboo to into a reasonable length and width, that this might be a sufficient amount of space to have another fruit tree. And a dog pen here, that's 3 more olive trees. These are manzanellos as far as I know, the round type. Getting a lot of growth now that we're in spring, and I'm hoping by summer that the vigour will be even greater. We are looking at some fruit formation or flowers forming on some of these, which is also a very good sign of the olives loving their new position. I don't get to talk about the southern side of the property. Again, more date palms. They're growing to a substantial size now. This is their 5th, actually probably their 6th year now in the ground. And with the neighbours' building work and the bricks here, we have a lovely little courtyard that's forming. We're hoping that with the development of the office and pool rooms in the neighbour's place, that this whole area will be enclosed with a brick wall, and then we'll have quite a nice courtyard in this location here on the southern side. We do live on a main road, so we do get a bit of noise from the traffic, and I think that would be a slight improvement on that if and when the building is put up. So looking forward to that, and I'm sure the neighbour's looking forward to finishing off his fabulous project. So there we have it. It's a garden I love coming into and walking around and seeing it develop, especially this time of year, with a lot of growth in springtime and probably early summer. And I'm hoping by the end of summer that some of the trees will be at least my height, and we can really get to see what it's turning into, and that is a fruit forest where you can intertwine, walk around, and really enjoy the trees. And of course the fruit is the additional bonus that you get if you decide to net them. But I like the trees as much as I like the fruit. I just love looking at fruit trees. So this is my timer, and currently it's 7:20 p.m. and it will come on in 1 hour and 10 minutes at 8:30 in the evening. And what I've done there is it comes on 7:30 in the morning on one day, and then 8:30 in the evening on the next day, 7:30 in the morning on the following day, and then 8:30 the day after, and then repeat. So if we have one of those days where the evening's going to be really hot, then that will cater for that. So with the mulberries, not looking too healthy. It gets a lot of water off the shed, but what I'm hoping to do here is to espaliate this into a fan type espaliate up against the cyclone fencing, and just really cover this southern wall, so it doesn't need a lot of sun from this side, with an espaliated mulberry. Now it's a black English mulberry, so it's not a massive big one like the Chastut, but it's a nice one. Now there's a couple of fruit already forming. I don't think they're going to form too well this year, being their first year really, and like I said, I think maybe the nutrients of the ground that they're sitting in has been depleted with the continual water runoff. But we'll see when summer comes along. I think you'll get to see how much more vigour the trees will have, and how much bigger the leaves will be when the hot weather eventuates.